Hey everybody, we are the Lookism group. My name's David, I'm the narrator. We're curious to look into how Lookism is a social issue in Korean culture that's become closely related with K-pop success. More specifically, we're interested in looking into how Lookism affects artists in the industry, how they change the looks to stir up audience anticipation, to stay relevant, to gain more fans, and become more successful. And lastly, how their changes, more specifically in fashion, makeup, diet, basically their looks, has influenced their audiences.
So let's get into our first argument, how lookism affects artists in the industry.
So in order to maintain the perfect image or the ideal image that the society expects from them, a lot of artists tend to change the way that they dress, change the way that they look by plastic surgery or diet in order to just maintain that perfect image. I think an example of that would be Park Bom from 2NE1, because she did some drastic plastic surgery in order to not maintain, but like fix her look to look more and more perfect. But then in the end, it didn't turn out so well, as you can probably see.
Not just plastic surgery, but also dieting as well. That contributes to looks, like the perfect figure. So an example would be Park Bo-ram. There's a quote here saying, "I think a lot of people after listening to this song were motivated to exercise more, lose weight, and diet," she says. I think a big reason is because I put my story into it, like 1 banana, 2 eggs, eating just that, and you see the results in me, and that was motivating for people. End quote. So she's talking about her music video. I think it was her debut music video called Beautiful. She thought that people were motivated to be more like her based on her results. And she expressed that through music. So
in that way, they have to look in a certain way.
And a lot of times, artists, they don't stick to one genre, so then they, each time they come back with a new single, they might have a new overall group look.
I think that's really profitable too. Like if you have a huge group and you have subgroups within, there's bound to be a certain audience that at least one group will appeal to them.
So our second argument is how they change their looks to stir up audience anticipation, stay relevant, to gain more fans, and to be more successful.
Do you think that every time they come back, they try a new concept?
A lot of times, I think.
Right? That's different, that's never been done before. And then perhaps it doesn't appeal to people at first, but there's always that what's it called, second order reception?
Yeah.
To back up this idea, like in Korea, whenever you're walking on the streets, like stores, they have these big speakers and they play the song they like or the one that's really gaining the attention.
So you're constantly being exposed to the most popular ones.
Yeah.
Most popular music. When you promote the product, either intentionally or unintentionally, and people just buy what you have, and people call you wanpannya for girls or wanpannam for boys. That means you sold out certain product.
Because you wore it.
Yeah, because you wore it in the movies or in a performance, and they kind of treat it as an honor to become one of them. It shows up in the news.
This writer, Sharon Heijin, in 2016, she wrote an article. There's a quote in there. As such, K-pop stars' looks are micromanaged by entertainment companies and then commodified alongside their music and dance. As a package then, these are promoted abroad to international fans via YouTube and other visually driven sites. End quote.
There's a psychology phenomenon called mere exposure effect, and it is the phenomenon whereby people feel preference for people or things simply because they are familiar. So the more you get exposed to, the more you'll be familiarized with it.
So that goes back to like whenever a group comes out with a new look, the more you see it, the more you like it.
And some of the groups like stick to their original image because they already have this image that had been successful, so they kind of bring it back.
Like EXID. Sexy concept.
So once they find that look or that style that is really successful for them, they'll stick to it more.
That's why I think they kind of experiment other genres by
To see
unit
what-
groups or
Yeah.
So last, let's talk about how their changes, so specifically fashion, makeup, and diet, influences their audience. I think endorsements too.
Yeah.
Right? So if you see your idol on the street or in advertisements holding up like a lipstick or like wearing a certain shade, you would want to go buy that shade.
Yeah.
Yeah. As we talked in class, like K-pop idols are really good at selling things because of their looks.
Yeah.
So I remember the professor had that picture on the screen where all the guys were just holding a can of something and people want to buy it because, you know, they listen to their music and they just assume that their idols drink that drink as well. So they want to be like them or be closer to them in that way.
There's also Susie from Miss A, and she's like well known for her perfect baby porcelain white skin. So her skincare routine, when it was shown on broadcast, a lot of people would follow her routine because they want to have really nice skin just like her.
Yeah.
So I think that's the way that an idol's look can influence their audience and the public.
Does that influence like jobs as well?
There's a news article. 98% of the unemployed workers thought looks mattered on their employment, like job interviews. And actually HR managers, 93% of them said looks matter on the interviewee's employment. And in Korea, when you hand in your resume, you have to put in your picture.
So getting hired in the first place requires you to
Have a look.
to take care of how you look and try to have a good image for the company.
This is a quote. And as a result, Hallyu fans travel across the world to Seoul in order to look just like their favorite Korean actors or pop stars while embarking on Hallyu tours during recovery.
When you go to Gangnam, like there are lots of buildings, and every floor is related to the plastic surgery.
성형외과.
So there's like a floor for...
Not just floor, like
Like
whole buildings
the whole
about
building?
plastic surgery.
First floor to like first floor to fourth floor or whatever. Like it's all.
And it's not only one. It's like and recently there's a diet called the fat diet, where you only eat fatty foods. Became really issue because everyone bought butter from their nearby stores, and bakery ended up having no butter to make bread.
Oh no.
So you're only eating fat, no carbs
Yeah,
or protein?
no carbs, only fats.
And if you associate with like a certain idol or like look up to them and they're doing it, then it makes you want to do it too.
Yeah.